Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. Y'all ready? Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. Oh yeah. Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. Who listen? Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. All right. Welcome to a Lil. Hey. Welcome to a Lil. Welcome to a Lil. Hey. Welcome to a Lil. Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. Welcome to a Lil Tea Time. All right, y'all. So good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Jarek, aka Jarry Steve, your host of A Lil Tea Time. Thank y'all for tuning in. Um, Today is Saturday. It's been a long day so far. My energy is a little off because I got some news that I'm going to share at the end of tonight's show. But other than that, you guys, just thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna just get right in because I got some other things coming up that I gotta be a part of in about an hour, so I need to get things going. Today is still Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's stay aware of that, you guys, and call and check on that strong friend because that strong friend may just need to hear from you. Today's word of the day is estival. Estival is an adjective from the late Middle English 14th century, and it's y'all got it. Summer. So hope that y'all are feeling that. Thanks for everyone just using today's word of the day and incorporating it into your English language speaking vocabulary. It is officially Gemini season, so happy birthday to all of the Geminis who get to view the shows and all the other Geminis around the world. Happy birthday to you guys. I hope that y'all enjoy y'all's birthdays. And it's a sign that we are closer to Cancer season. Cancer season, our season is coming, Cancers around the world. So y'all stay tuned for our turn to shine, and we will let the Geminis enjoy their time, all right? Um, Song of the week going strong is still for Miss Janet Jackson's. Y'all ready? I know y'all been ready for it. That's the Way Love Goes. I am still celebrating That's the Way Love Goes on the show this week because of Janet Jackson's documentary being nominated for an MTV Movie and TV Award for Best Music Documentary. Congratulations to her. You guys get out to Lifetime and A&E to vote right now for her documentary. And Janet, you're definitely going to take this bag, sis. Let's continue to vote for her, you guys, and continue to put her on the map. All right? Celebrate it. Definitely would love to have you guys get over to SaucySoniaSpices.com and use my coupon code A Lil Tea Time, one word, and receive 5% off of your purchases. And check out her cookbook, Chef Saucy Spice Cookbook, available right now at SaucySoniaSpices.com and at Amazon.com. The Brazen Spirit exhibit is still going strong. We have less than 8 days to go and check out the exhibit. And you definitely don't want to miss it at 708 Texas Street or at Art Space. If y'all have not yet gotten out to check out the exhibit yet, great exhibit to go and have some fun with your family, first dates, and just some time for yourself if you're interested in the arts. So definitely get out to 708 Texas Street for the Brazen Spirit exhibit. Shout out to Miss Adriana with Calling Your Name, doing great numbers right now on YouTube. I'm definitely looking forward to this video for 24/7, the next single off of her album, and just continuing to praise her with what she's doing right now with music. Shout out to Jay Signs with his new single off of his album Molotov. Pineapple Pizza also climbing right now, doing great numbers on YouTube. If y'all have not yet gotten to the song yet, it's also available on iTunes and Apple Music. So get into it. Shout out to Dame Mar, who is also featured on the album as well. Shout out to Mr. AJ Causey, aka Judd Young II, who's watching. Shout out to you. Y'all check out Black Knights featuring Niles and AJ Causey. The song is doing great numbers right now. I've listened to this song. I've already left my thoughts and comments on it. I definitely would love to have you guys get into it, check it out, and leave them some feedback on what y'all's feelings are on Black Knights. And get into the music, you guys. Shout out to Shayna D Music with her single Pack It Up right now. Also doing great numbers. She's also set to release the video very soon. I know she's been working on that video very, very closely to now almost having that video almost ready. So y'all stay tuned for that video coming very soon from Miss Shayna D Music. Shout out to Mimsy MC with her album The Marsh. I know she's set to do her next show. So y'all stay tuned for that next show and stay tuned for all that she's doing with her music. Shout out to Mr. Martell Lacey with his single Take My Hand, also doing great numbers right now. I'm a fan of what he's doing with his music, so y'all get into it. Y'all can follow Mr. Martell Lacey also on Instagram at martelllacy.com. So y'all get into it, check out that music. Um, Shout out to 93 underscore Breezy with her single No Negative Vibes, available on iTunes and Apple Music. Shout out to Sweet Nay with her single Whooped, also available at iTunes and Apple Music. Shout outs to Ego Tripping and Official Patience dropping Above Ground. It came out yesterday. I have not yet heard the song just yet, but I'm definitely going to get into it when time is available for me to check it out. And I know that they're going to be doing some great numbers with this song. So y'all stay tuned. If you have not yet heard Above Ground, definitely get into it at your convenience and send them some shout outs and some feedback on the music. Gotta send a shout out to Mr. Joshua Mack with his single When the Lights Come On from his album, The Book of Joshua. And if y'all have not yet heard that single, it's also a great single. I know that you can also listen to this song and all of the artists I've just talked about in everywhere where music is sold on iTunes and Apple Music. So definitely get into the music, you guys. Stay tuned to the Ratchet City Blues documentary with Sherry Gray of My Big Rigs Artistry. I know that she's doing some great things right now with her filming for this documentary, and I'm excited for what she has coming down the pipe for you guys. So definitely stay tuned for what Sherry Gray is doing with us and the cast of the Ratchet City Blues documentary. Events shout outs to Terrence Thompson right now. If y'all have not yet ordered the black and chicken quesadillas with him for today, you definitely want to get with him in his inbox. Let him know that you're interested in getting those pre-orders in for your black and chicken quesadilla. I had some time to get out to the Boulder Arts Council presents the Artini Glass Paint Party. I hung out for maybe about an hour or two. I painted some glasses, and I'm excited for what is to come with this event. Shout out to everybody at BAC, the Boulder Arts Councils, that I hung out with today and met this afternoon at such a really laid back event. Tonight, literally in about an hour from now, I am going to be heading over to the 51 Shades of Intimacy hosted by Miss Karen LeBeau, featuring jazz musician Eddie Spencer and chef Mel Nelson. The doors will open at 8:30 and no more admissions will be accepted after 9 p.m. So if y'all have not gotten your tickets for tonight's event, you definitely don't want to miss out. You definitely want to be in the place. I will be getting ready after tonight's show. I will see all of you guys there for everyone who's coming through tonight, all right? Tomorrow, me and my production team, we will be filming the 8-year anniversary of Puck Daddies, Gauges, and Ink. They're celebrating their 8th year anniversary. So if you guys are prepared to come out tomorrow from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at 6363 Hearn Avenue, this will be a family event, and you will be able to get one free small tattoo or piercings per person. So definitely looking forward to hanging out with them tomorrow. I can get my nose pierced while we're doing the actual show with them. And I look forward to just hanging out with those guys over there at Pug Daddy tomorrow. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Right? See y'all in a bit. Also coming soon, Young Jeezy and K Michelle will be coming to Shreveport, Louisiana at the Municipal Auditorium Friday, May the 27th. It has been confirmed that Lloyd is going to be a part of the show. So if y'all have not yet got your tickets, you still got a few more days. The show's next week, and you can get to Ticketmaster.com to pick up your tickets now, right? June 2nd, get ready for a literal taste of history with Chef Pandorina with Suma's Heritage Creole Creations, and Chef Pansu will be at Benton Branch Library, 115 Courthouse Drive in Benton, Louisiana. So I definitely would love to see you guys out at the place. I would try and make it out. I'm not 100% sure what my schedule's going to be, but I would try and be in that place. June the 3rd, McElhaney Movement Show will be at the Vicki Robertson Theater at 233 East 67th Street here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I definitely shared the post to my Facebook page for people to purchase your tickets. So the tickets are definitely up on the site for you guys to get into and purchase ASAP. And if anyone's familiar with Mr. Joshua Gaines, hey Joshua, we've been trying to contact you, me and Mr. McElhaney. We've been trying to contact you, Joshua, about the show. So if y'all have heard anything from Joshua, please give Joshua Gaines a shout out for us. Let him know that we're trying to contact him. All right. See y'all soon, and thank y'all so much. June the 4th is Field Gay. I am excited because this will be my first Field Gay this year. And y'all stay tuned for more information as it becomes available. Stay tuned for next week's shows with the Lil Tea Time. Definitely don't want to miss next week's shows. We got a new batch of new guests who are going to come through and just holler and kick it with me here on the Lil Tea Time. Happy birthday to my Facebook followers. Shout out to my Facebook followers, Mr. Big Rick and Miss Shantanese. Happy birthday to you guys. Now that I have spilled my tea, I want to send a shout out to Bigelow, Perfectly Mint, as well as Bigelow Perfect Peach for my tea blend that is in my cup. And now that I have spilled my tea for tonight, I am ready to introduce my guest, Miss Constance Love. I know that she has been waiting in the queue, so I'm about to bring her in for her tonight. And thank you to everybody tuning in. Y'all, please share tonight's show. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, how are you today?
I am doing pretty good. Thanks for asking.
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Yeah,
we're
thanks for
gonna just
asking.
dive right in. Dive right in.
Okay.
Where are you hooking up with us from tonight?
Funny you should ask. So I'm in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So I am a claims adjuster and I travel all across the United States. And so right now I'm officially in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
And how was the weather?
So funny you should ask. So like a couple of weeks ago, stepped outside on my way to an inspection and there was a few snow flurries, but today it's about 59. We did have a couple of days last week where it went up to like, I think maybe like 79 or 80, which was nice. So yeah, when I first got here, there were times when it was like negative 3, 4, 5. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, it is great to have you tonight for
Well,
tonight's
thanks for
show.
having me on.
I definitely been looking forward to having you on tonight. So we're just gonna dive right in because I know that you are a busy woman
I
with a very
am.
busy schedule. So, Miss Love, can
Uh-huh.
you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
So I am originally from Southeast Missouri. And when I left Southeast Missouri, I went to Texas and I lived in Texas from 91 until, I don't know, about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I stepped over to Shreveport. And when I first came to Shreveport, I was still in the insurance industry, but I was doing a different line of business. I was working on the healthcare side. So I had an agency in Shreveport where I enrolled people in the affordable health care. And I decided to switch that line of business. Oh, not only was I enrolling people in affordable health care, but I also traveled then as well, like during the fourth quarter. Sometimes I would travel second or third quarter, but primarily the fourth quarter. I would
Mm-hmm.
travel and I would do corporate enrollment. So
Okay.
I've been a road warrior for quite some time. It's just in the past few years, it's increased the amount of time that I've traveled.
Got it.
So I've in Shreveport, I've had an opportunity to be in a few plays. Um, I've hosted an artist that came out of Dallas. I've hosted some sets for her. I also hosted a book club there in Shreveport. So if it's all things art, I enjoy doing that. So
I love that. I love that. And I also hear that you are a podcast host of your own podcast.
I am. I've had a podcast. I started right when George Floyd was murdered. That
Mm-hmm.
was my first one. And for the very first podcast, it was young, well, not young, but it was African American males between the ages of 25 to 30.
Mm-hmm.
And what we talked about primarily is what their reaction was to number one, to be able to watch George Floyd pass, but prior to his passing, him calling out for his mother.
Yes.
So quite often in mainstream media, they kind of gloss over the psychological aspect of racism. And even more so, we don't really ask the African American male, how did that make you feel? So that was one of the first podcasts. I'm happy to say that I was able to have the provost or president of Grambling said on my podcast. I also had W.E. Du Bois's great grandson sit on my podcast. And, W.E. Du Bois, he's the one that wrote, he was the first sociologist, and he wrote the Philadelphia Study. And so we dived into back when W.E. Du Bois was alive, and he went into, I want to say, and don't quote me, about 3,500 Black families, and he pinpointed the deficits that was the deficits in the African American community. Uh, Maybe I'm not using the right words, but he did an analysis. And we look here, and at that time it might have been 2020 or 2021, and the same issues that African Americans had during that time, we are dealing with the same issues today. Okay, so, and we also discussed that, the conflict or the disagreement between W.E. Du Bois and, oh my God, I can't think. What is the guy's name with the peanut?
George Washington Carver.
And George Washington Carver was saying that African Americans needed to do more with their hands. And basically, George Washington Carver, if we had followed in his path, we would not have started the civil rights movement at the time that we did. So we can thank W.E. Du Bois for that. I also had a few police officers that said on my podcast. One is a retired homicide detective out of Chicago. Another one was a detective in Waco, a police officer in Waco. And we had those transparent conversations about whether or not, or what can be done to help reduce police brutality and have more transparency within the police department. Especially in Shreveport, we know that we would not have known about the two African American males that died in police custody if it hadn't been that conversation um, with in front of the city council when they
Hmm.
point blank. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. When she asked, "Has anyone died in police custody?" And that's when we found out about Wavy Austin and Timothy McAllen.
Hmm.
That's when we found out about the two of them. So I talked about that. I've also talked about reformation. So I talk about a variety of things on my show. Some things people in Shreveport are happy to have that conversation with. Some things people are not happy to have that conversation about. So I'm probably one of the most unliked podcasters out of Shreveport. One of the things that I tell people is this: I don't make my money in Shreveport. So because I don't make my money in Shreveport, I cannot be manipulated and controlled by the content. And I just laid things out, just like when our mayor was pulled over for driving down a one-way street. I spilled that tea first, okay? And
Hmm.
I got kicked out of some groups because African Americans in Shreveport didn't like the fact that I said that, but it was true. Is that the tea right there? Not
Yes,
only that, who's the president of the city council right now? James Green?
I think so.
James Green, yep, James Green went in to go have an eye examination during the heightened part of COVID and pushed his way in to the office, had the police reports to say that.
Ooh, child.
So, yeah, so circle of truth. Some people, they don't care for me and the circle of truth. Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is. You do what you do. We can't talk about that.
All right. Well,
What?
we gonna dive back into that after this next question. What
Hmm.
do you do for fun when you are not doing all of the many things that you do?
Well, I really enjoy traveling. So I was just showing someone earlier this today that last year I was in Alaska twice. So when I was in Alaska and my downtime, I traveled to different parts of that state. So that's what I do. I love to travel. I've always been a traveler. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. I'm an avid reader, and I really love to play spades. Like I'm mean on the table when it comes to spades. Like,
All right. I hope
yeah,
my brother's not watching the show. You
yeah,
have
like
a lesson for
yeah,
him.
huh?
My brothers, they love spades. We all love it.
Really?
They better players than I am.
Are they?
Yes.
Well, when I was growing up, it was the first three of us were stair steps. So my mother would sit down and she would play cards with us. We played spades and gin rummy and chunk and all those kind of things. So it's really interesting that people just kind of assume that I don't know how to play spades. I love that. I love sitting down and people looking at me thinking I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Bet. Oh, you like my shirt? Can you see that? It
I
says
love
not today. Not
it.
today.
Oh,
So I
you
do.
go.
I love sitting down and watching the table. I do. And then once I start, once I read the table, figure out what's going on. I have a partner. She lives in my space partner lives there in Shreveport. So when I sit there with my space partner, I mean we vibe, we vibe. So yeah, I get to playing, and then yeah, I remember one time I went to the Alpha House, Sat there for hours. Folks kept getting up. One person sat back down to the table. I was like, why did you sit down? I whooped your ass the first time. So look, the alphas they have this annual event called the Crew of the Homies, and I always joke, I'm like, hey, the reigning queen is back of the spade. So yes, if there are any alphas out there, y'all know I'm bad with the bones. I think I was in Florida and I saw some black and gold cards. I took it. I told them I was gonna leave that at the Alpha House. So when
Petty
I
in.
look when I got because you know what, I did go to work in Jamaica after Hurricane Maria, so I had some Jamaican cards, and I not Jamaican, I think it might have been Jamaican, but I think they came from Puerto Rico or whatever. But I brought those cards to the Jamaican house, and they tried to tell me that they couldn't trust me because I brought my own deck of cards. That's why I came with another deck of cards and gave them to them as a gift. So I do. I love playing spades. Yep,
Okay.
I do.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So we're gonna dive back in and talk more about Circle of Truth. What inspired you to develop your idea for Circle of Truth? I know you were saying it was part of the time when George Floyd passed.
So even prior to that, whenever Sheriff Prater was running for sheriff, and there was, I think, three people. Yeah, it was three people that was running against him. I hosted the sheriff's debate. So I enjoy writing. I enjoy media. And especially when COVID came along and you're able to do interviews remotely like we're doing and bringing people together, I
Mhm.
enjoy that. I enjoy networking. I enjoy talking to people, and I enjoy bringing people together. So for me, the primary message for the Circle of Truth is to have an environment where African Americans can have those candid conversations that you're not going to see on mainstream media. Is that too much light coming in?
Just a little bit.
Oh, hold on. How about that?
Perfect.
Can I
Perfect.
flex a little bit?
You perfect.
I said, can I flex a little bit?
Do you? Do you? Do you?
Did you see that?
Is that Fendi?
Baby and real. Did you
Oh,
say what?
we love product placements. We appreciate product placements here at a Little Tea Time. So shout out to Fendi. I'm one of those boys. I love bags.
I figured that. That's what I said. Let me flex a little bit. Let me flex. And
You
look, I bought the
flex with
traditional
Fendi.
color too. Huh?
You can flex with Fendi.
Okay, I can. And look, and it's black and it's subtle. So
Yeah,
I love it when I walk into to a few places. I just have it on my arm, just effortlessly.
I absolutely adore it. I adore it. So the next question is, how did you decide when to establish your brand?
Um, it was it was before the George Floyd. It was when the event was going on for. It was before George Floyd. It was before George Floyd, and it was before the sheriff. And I had some other women that I was working with, and they kept trying to steal my idea. They did.
You
Like
share
I had to
everything.
say that again.
You know you can't share everything now.
Well, I wanted like three or four women we could sit and have a conversation with, right?
Mhm.
And it just didn't work. And so at first I wanted to work with a team of women, And I did that more than once. And I really was hoping that the women were going to have the same drive and the momentum that I did, like with putting it out there and getting it out. And then I also was working with someone who claimed that he was going to run my show on a black black platform, and that didn't happen.
Hmm.
So I ended up, whenever COVID happened, then I started streaming. Yep, I started streaming, and then there is a platform called Black Knowledge. So I eventually got a chance to find a platform called Black Knowledge with Dr. Boyce Watkins. So now I stream on Black Knowledge. So I still stream in Circle of Truth, but I also stream on Black Knowledge. So that gives me an audience. I mean, I work so much now, so I don't get a chance to do it. I normally would try to stream like every other week, but I don't even have the time. If I can do it once a month, that's a good thing. But I just try to make sure when I do stream that I have quality content. Except for, people might not have thought there was quality content. What was that guy's name that was running for, or he wants to run for mayor of Shreveport?
I actually stopped keeping up with it because it's starting to get ridiculous now.
Well, the one that's homeless. So I did interview him.
I love it. Woo, you
Everybody
give me
needs a platform. He said he wanted to tell his story, so I let him come on and tell his story. Like, so some people, they got a little pissed with me, but I mean, what's the difference if Oprah is interviewing someone? Doesn't she allow people to come and tell their story? Say, I want to be the mix between Wendy Williams and Oprah.
Woo.
That's how I see myself. I do. I see myself like that. I think that I can speak eloquently when I need to.
Hmm.
And if I need to spill some tea, I can spill some tea too, like
All right.
Wendy.
All right. Shh. It is a little ratchet out there, so ain't nothing wrong with being a little ratchet when it's calls
And
for.
look, let me tell you something. Sometimes you have to speak the language of the people. So that
I
mean, I
feel
mean,
that.
and people in Shreveport love Timmy Lane, don't they?
All true. All true.
So they want something that's like, you know. So
Yeah, it's part of the reason why a Lil Tea Time is so different because I focus on being a community show. I focus on one to promote business owners, promoting brands, promoting what it is that they do, and not
mhm,
their niche. Because we can promote image anywhere,
mhm,
but I'm about branding, and branding has become the thing of I want to see how we can do what we do as Black people positively without it being something that becomes a thing of well he's always talking about people, he always talking about people. That was never my goal here. My
right.
goal was to promote and interview people who are on their way up. So I love the idea of what you're doing. I love the idea of what you're doing. It lets me know that I'm in the right lane with what I'm doing here with the Little Tea Time.
And that's good. Keep it up. Don't. Yeah, I think you have to be consistent. You definitely have to be consistent.
It's getting harder to do these shows, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm definitely gonna keep
Yeah,
going. And hearing it from I'll call you a veteran because you're one of my elders. So I'll call you a veteran who's familiar with what it is that I'm doing here. Um,
right.
I'm learning even from you today that you got to keep going. Just keep going.
Oh, you do. I mean, you do. I mean, you have a lot of bump.
Ooh, she got bumped off. Okay, so she just got bumped off. I think her phone may have died. I'm not sure. Um, I'm just gonna kind of carry on until she comes back if she makes it back. Um, wow. So that is my guest for tonight, Miss Constance Love with Circle of Truth podcast. Um, I'm not sure what happened. I think her media device probably did die, or she probably got knocked off. I got to thank everybody who's joining right now. Thank you to everybody who's joining and watching tonight's show. I'm going to definitely try and give her a few minutes to come back in. But while I am waiting on her to come back in, I'm definitely am excited about tonight's event. Okay, she's back. She's definitely back. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Let her come on back in.
Hey, I don't know what happened. It just knocked me off and sent me right into the regular
You're
comment.
you're
Yeah,
okay. We're gonna keep
yeah.
it going.
So
So we're
yeah,
gonna
so like yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say you were saying about yeah, you have to be consistent. You definitely have to be consistent, and you do have to protect your brand, and you have to put in the work. I mean, if this is something that you're interested in, I mean, you have to and promote yourself all the time,
Yes,
and you do, and it's not easy.
it's not.
And I did have a co-host, and I don't know if you know, I had a co-host, Derek Henderson, and it was nice to have a co-host, but you definitely have to have someone that has enough the same amount of drive and passion that you do.
Hmm.
Because I believe that, if you're going to go far with this, it takes passion, it takes dedication,
Yes,
and you got to push,
yes,
even when other people talk crazy to you,
yes,
you got to push.
yes. I could definitely tell you. I've been doing this a little over a year. Last month, on the
Mhm.
5th year of me doing these shows, and I have learned so much from every single guest, from
Mhm.
every person who has come through here. No matter what area of expertise that they worked in, I've learned something from each person. And in it, I've learned to appreciate what I do here so much more because I've changed being here. I can
Right.
definitely, if I go back and just look at the first few shows up until where we are right now, I can see how much I've changed and how much I've grown. And I have a different appreciation for this to the point where now I have a production team who decided to come on board after he watched me do this for a year.
Wow.
So
Impressive.
it has become a bigger deal that now we're going to be doing our first live taping tomorrow
Okay.
of an event that we just booked. I want to say in the last few weeks, and I just got to thank you again because you're definitely letting me know that I'm showing me that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. You're
Mhm.
showing me that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And we're gonna get back into your interview because we have a few more questions left, and then we're gonna play Candy or Corn. The next question is how have your priorities changed since you started your podcast?
How have my priorities changed?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that I understand even more so work ethic, the importance of work ethic. I also understand the importance of networking as well. And then I think that um, I think I see the world probably a little different. I mean, I don't think I was ever that like person that had tunnel vision, but I believe that by doing research on some of my topics, that it's definitely broadened my horizon.
Yes.
Because I would try to make sure, especially at the very beginning, like I would try to figure out if I had a certain theme, like something to start it off with, like maybe a saying by Malcolm X or a saying by Martin Luther King. And it's really interesting that people normally talk about, when they make reference to Martin Luther King, we always talk about I have a dream and all of that. But Malcolm X also talked about, what is that, going into the burning house? I can't remember. But he did talk about, he made a transformation just like Malcolm X did, right?
Mhm.
Where at some point he started to think maybe segregation wasn't the right thing. But by me doing more research prior to various podcasts on various subjects, yeah, that helped. And I enjoyed it. I did, just trying to make sure I had the right questions, and I did. Yeah.
I can definitely contest to that. When I first started podcasting, I was working with a network, O&E Dynasty, which was a bigger brand that I was working with at the beginning. And it was a show where I had to interview LGBTQ artists because I'm an LGBTQ artist. And I had to literally interview just people of that market. And it became a thing of I began to do research for these particular shows when I was doing this in the beginning for that particular network. And I learned so much about my community. I learned so much about the history of my
Mhm.
community. And it taught me so much that I was like, okay, this is a good place to be in, but this is not just who I am. I'm a black gay man, and
Mhm.
I had to. I left their network because I couldn't be in that box anymore. I'm more than just a black gay artist. I'm an artist that represents all genres of people.
Right.
And with what you're saying, it definitely was a thing of I had to go and learn so much that even when I left from O&E Dynasty and continue just doing what I'm doing now with my show, it was a thing of when I do when I get artists for this show, I research my guests. I learn who they are as much as I can to try and have a idea of the person that's coming in for
Mhm.
the viewers. And I definitely understand when you say you got to do that research, you have to do that research. That
Yeah.
research can make or break anything that you're doing if you are not familiar with your topics. Having to go back and make sure that the information is correct because you don't need to be doing retractions every single show.
Right.
And being very knowledgeable about what's going on in a time where information can change hour after hour, day
Mhm.
after day. So I definitely understand and connect with what you're saying on that. The next question is, what challenges did you overcome on your journey so far?
Well, I would say the biggest challenge that I had to overcome was co-host. Yeah, because I mean, I'm doing the interviews now by myself, but I've never wanted to do it by myself.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I eventually got to the point where yeah, I'm doing the interviews by myself. I'm hosting by myself, and yeah, so that was a challenge. That's like I said, the challenge is more so of finding someone that's is dedicated and passionate and can see the big picture.
Yes, that was
So
something that I learned really quick. I learned that like I'm pretty self sufficient. A co-host, they would have to be able to match my energy all day, every day.
exactly, and that's I
And
mean that's not, yeah.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal
Mm,
when you do shows like this and you want to bring someone on board with you. You want to make sure that they're able to match your energy. And I can definitely tell you, I know I don't want a co-host. I don't want a co-host.
you don't want to go.
I don't want one.
Yeah,
My guests literally are my co-hosts. My guests become my co-hosts for each
right.
show. So I don't know what the future's gonna take me with a little tea time, but I definitely can tell you right now, I don't want a co-host. I
You
don't
don't
want
want to go. So,
I don't want a co-host. I don't want to start dealing with everybody's energy, and
and that's a lot.
it can become toxic if you're not
Yeah.
familiar with whoever you're working with and you don't know the background of these people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. It'll be a job interview, and we're gonna go ahead and look for someone else. Thank you so much for coming. We'll keep you on fire. The
Yeah.
next question is, what strategies did you use first to market your business?
So actually, I have more than one business. I'm a claims adjuster,
Hmm.
and I teach that class as well for people to become an adjuster. So um, for me, mine is all about word of mouth. So as far as the claims adjuster is concerned, I've always, talked on Facebook about my journey. Going through the certification. Well, first getting the license, going through the certification, going through the mentoring program. Even when I got my first deployment, and that's what we call it. Some of the challenges that I went through getting my first deployment, I've always talked about it. And even for me to show the Fendi bag and flex a little bit, it's just say, hey, I've worked very hard. I've gotten to the position where I'm making the average income in Shreveport is what, 45,000, maybe 50, and I've like four times that amount. So yeah, so when I post about what it's like to be an African American woman in a predominantly white male industry, I talk about it so that to encourage people to take a look at the industry. And
Yeah.
then, like I said, so when I talk a lot, my brand about this industry, and then yes, I do reach out to people that I know, and I say, hey, I'm hosting this class, and yeah, and even when it comes to the circle of truth, the same thing. I let people know this is what I'm doing. Will you share what I'm doing? Or do you know someone? Or even if I invite people on my platform, I ask them to share the information with other people to kind of build my brand. And when I first started Circle of Truth, the group, I mean, I had a little more time, but I would get up every morning and I would think of questions to ask. I'd have a topic for the day. Say, for instance, it would be, let's just say, Dr. King. So I would post a question or different tidbits about Dr. King, and I'd have it where it would post like at 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, because I know people would be at lunch, 4 o'clock, da da da. And then I have another page, another page. I would go on the other page, and maybe like around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I'd put a funny in there.
Hmm.
So that's my marketing. That's
Okay, I can appreciate that. I'm still learning how to adjust with all of this stuff because I have a lot that I have to deal with this show. I
mhm.
understand that it can be challenging to try and
it's like a, it's,
promote.
it's like a part time. It's a part time job.
Hmm. It is a part
It's a,
time.
yeah, it's a part time job. If you want people to watch, yeah, you're constantly networking. You're constantly, yeah, you're building your brand, and you're always promoting yourself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The next question is, how do you define success?
I believe that you have to set goals that appear to be unattainable. I think if you set, easy goals, I mean, what is that? But when you set a goal that is so lofty and high, and it seems like, and other people are wondering, how are you going to achieve those goals? And you're having to make sure that you're taking baby steps, even if it's one little step, that you're making some step toward reaching or achieving your goal. When you have setbacks and you're still resilient, then when you reach that goal, that's success. And for me, I tell people I have a contract to June 30th. If I don't work past June 30th, I'm good. I feel like I set the goal to become a claims adjuster, and when I first heard about becoming a claims adjuster, you know, Yes, I had a goal, and I've exceeded that goal. I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and I never gave up. So, do I believe I'm a success right now? Yes, I do. Very much so.
I
I
love that.
do.
I love it.
Yeah, I do. I'm the picture of a woman who was in her 40s, who is a survivor of aggravated sexual assault
Mm.
and still able to come out into a male dominated industry and be able to say, hey, if I don't work past June, I've made 100,000. How many other African American women my age can say, I've been to Puerto Rico and worked? I went to Alaska twice and worked. Now I'm sitting here in Wisconsin that it's only 1% African American.
Mm.
And for me to walk in around male construction workers and have those conversations and say, hey,
That's the tea. That's
look,
all.
and then still be cute
That's all of it.
and
You
still be
know,
cute.
I can definitely say, Miss Love, you definitely are putting it down for the culture. Definitely putting it down for the culture, and I'm so appreciative to have you here because I did not know how this interview was going to go.
You kept texting me, and I'm like, in the middle of work, I'm like, come on now.
That just let you know I was very adamant. I'm very adamant about the show, and I'm very adamant about my guests. But now having you here tonight,
So did you
I'm
think I was
so
going to stand you up?
yeah. No,
Why?
no, no, no. Wait. Repeat the question. I think I missed.
You think I was going to stand you up?
No, I didn't think you were gonna stand me up. I did not think that at all. Um,
Okay, because I almost thought I was dealing with a bill collector or something. I was like,
no, I did not think you were gonna stand me up. I'm very adamant about just making sure that my
"Hey,
guests know where
uh,
we are in the process for the shows.
so first I'm trying to figure out, well, how did you even ask me? I mean, that kind of took me when you asked me to be on your show. I was like,
Um, Being honest, when I first came to you about doing the show, I was interested in you doing the show because I'm always promoting business owners. I'm always promoting people from around the community who are willing to talk about their brands. And then when I realized, okay, she's more than just. When you told me that you were more than just a podcast host, and you told me that you were a claimer, just I was like, okay, yeah, she's definitely doing my show because you are more than one multifaceted.
I am.
And now, even just us sitting here having the conversation, you're definitely showing other girls, other young girls, black girls, that regardless of what you've been through, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of where you come from, put your best damn heel on.
Right,
Do
and keep it
that
keep it pushing.
and
Yeah.
keep it
And
fucking.
it's not let me tell you something. And this week is the anniversary of my assault. Okay. So if I'm a little testy, and I know I've been testy, that's because it's the anniversary of it.
Understood.
And I talked about that in the Circle of Truth because I was assaulted while I was married, and then when I was going through the divorce, I was aggravated. Well, I was sexually assaulted, and then I was aggravated sexually assaulted when I was going through the divorce, which means that involved, um, when it's aggravate, that means it involves injury to your body. There was violence involved. And in December 2 years ago, in the Circle of Truth, I talked about being aggravated sexually assaulted. I talked about how people react to that. I talked about going through the judicial system. I talked about the impact that it had on my family. And I also talked about, even every year during this time, I still have a level. of anxiety, and I still have a level of depression because of it. And what I tell people is when a woman or even a man has been molested or they've been sexually assaulted, the person that they were, you too, huh? The person that they were died, and that you never get past what happened to you. You just have to find a different way to cope and navigate through life.
Yes.
So I have yet. I keep saying that I want someone to interview me, especially to put it on Black Knowledge. I want someone to interview me, and I still haven't found that person that said, people will say they'll interview me, but I haven't had that. Yeah, because I do. I want women to see, yes, that you can have something very traumatic happen to you, and you can still overcome. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for me after what happened to me, and I traveled. Some people think that I'm fearless and I'm never afraid. Oh, I am afraid. I am. I just don't let those fears stop what I'm doing.
That's it.
I don't. And I use my voice. I'm very passionate for helping African American males. I'm not saying that, but I'm also very passionate about addressing the rape culture in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm very passionate about, like, for that movie, For Colored Girls Only.
Yes.
Because I feel like we talk about black women being angry or having an attitude or yada yada yada, and like Kevin Samuels, like I not a fan of his at all, and I feel like we don't talk about what happens in the African American community behind closed doors. We're not talking about the brothers that are tripped there, or the uncles or whomever that's sliding in, molesting and sexually assaulting our black women, so that when we get to be adults, you know, you're wanting to know, why am I guarded? See, if
Yes.
you understand what it is that I've gone through in life, especially a man that wants to date me, if he understood what I went through in life, then he would understand why I am the way I am.
That's it. That's
And I
it.
don't think that we are diving into those aspects because we want to sit up here and we want to act like, yeah,
Well, okay. Nothing's wrong.
right.
Fine. No. I,
We
I
want
learned
all, huh?
I learned that I went to therapy. I started going to therapy 4 years ago. I've been going to therapy for 4 years because
Mhm.
I needed to understand how trauma. Because when we don't
Mhm.
deal with stuff like that, it becomes traumas.
Exactly.
And I would say within the third year of me going to counseling and going to therapy is when I kind of tapped into me being raped and me being
Mhm.
just reading books on grief recovery and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And it
Mhm.
came to my recall. And
Mhm.
I finally I told my mom about me being molested, but I never told my mom about me being raped. So my mom, she knew about me being molested. I told her that 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, but she never knew about me being raped. And even after that particular time, there was some past relationships that I was in, I was raped, where we think that because we're dating someone that they can do that to us. No. And I'm kind of in the space where now, after the last 4 years, I've been kind of dating myself and just being me, just living my life without having
Right.
to be under the thumb of a relationship because I understand now the person that I was and the person that I am now, those two people cannot coexist.
Right. Right.
And when
Right.
you do your homework for your mental health,
Mhm.
it not only changes you mentally, it changes you spiritually.
Right.
And I gotta commend you again because we don't have these conversations because they are the harder conversations to have, and they are the realest
They
fucking
are.
conversations that we
Yeah.
could ever
We should
have.
have started this like 30 minutes ago. Now we're in the real interview now, huh?
And
Yeah.
I've learned that, baby, you don't know what that other person went through for them to do what they did to you, but you cannot hold yourself captive to what they did. You have to hold them accountable for what.
Exactly. Exactly. But let me tell you what I really have an issue with. I have an issue with family members and friends who are dismissive to people that have been sexually assaulted. See, someone told me that I was a loner, and I said, no, I'm not a loner. But then I had to realize that I am. And I'm going
Mhm.
to tell you why. Because I don't have that support of people. I don't. I don't have the support of my family. I don't. See, I just said this upcoming week is the anniversary of when I was sexually assaulted. And I tell people, and people don't even like for me to say it's an anniversary. And I said, well, why not?
Why not?
If it was the anniversary of when a child died, wouldn't I be able to say to you, this is the month that my child died? So if you see me being angry or you see me being crying or if you see me going through a sort of emotions, you know that I'm grieving. So why is it if I say to you, this is something very traumatic that happened to me and this is that time, then I need you to be cognizant of that. I need to govern yourself accordingly. Because see, at one minute I might talk to you, next minute I'm gonna cuss your damn ass out. Especially if you're a man and you're coming at me too aggressively or whatever, I'm
Mhm.
letting you know. So why can't we be transparent? But this is what people, well, I would just act like it didn't exist. What the hell? I'm just supposed to act like something like that didn't happen in my life? No, I recognize that it happened. And the reason why I recognize that it happened so that I know that during this time, do you know what I need to do? I need to make sure that I send myself flowers. I need to make sure that I like scented shower gels. So I make sure that I take shower gel. I take showers. Okay. See, one of the counseling that I went to, we had a little box. And in that box, we had to put all of our favorite things. Right. Self care. So
Yeah.
when you know that it's coming up for that time, you do those extra things to make you feel good. Now, by June, I'm probably going to be a totally different person. But right now,
You got to sit in it, and you have to process. You have to sit
and,
in it.
and it's been, and you know what? And it was over 20 years. But
Right.
does it not? Well, one wasn't over 20 years. Well, one might be right at 20, the aggravated sexual assault. And I can still remember going on that stand and testifying against him. He was sitting there, his mother and father and his brothers were sitting there, and his new wife. And I sat in that courtroom, no family members were there. I walked out of that courtroom, no family members were there. I went back to the house and crawled on my Chase lounge. So who the hell is the strong black woman?
You are. You are. You are, and continue to stay. I gotta share this with you because the conversation just went there. And we're gonna answer the. I'm gonna ask you the final question, but just a couple of hours ago today, um, my uncle called me, and my uncle just told me that my cousin committed suicide last night.
Oh, how old
So
was he?
I'm in a place where I'm okay, but I'm not okay. But because the conversation just went where we are right now, I needed to get that off my chest.
How old
Um,
was your cousin?
he was in his 20s. He was in his 20s, and I haven't seen him since my last vacation to go and spend time with them. But tonight, thank you. Tonight, today's just a day that I had to just be okay. I had to be okay. And even right now, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And because we don't talk about stuff like this. Like, what happened that a young man decided to take his life? We don't talk about stuff like this because it's if we have these conversations, you don't know what your kid is going through. Go and talk to your kid. You don't know what your family is going through. Go and talk to your family.
Hmm.
Um, and
You know, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I tell people, don't look at my Facebook post to determine how I'm feeling. Pick up that doggone phone and ask me how I'm doing. Give me my flowers while I'm alive.
yeah,
You hear me? So we're not picking up the phone. We're not calling people. We're not saying, hey, what's going on in your life? And really listen to what they say. Like this one chick that I've been friends of mine, she called me last Saturday. I told her what was going on. She gonna try to tell me something. I said, fuck it, and hung the phone up. Because if I'm trying to tell you what's going on and you trying to tell me what to do, no. What you need to do is listen. Okay? So I don't know, because I don't know your cousin.
hmm
I think that number one, we are too busy telling each other that we need to be strong. Baby, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And well, we right here, we talking about Shreveport. There's a man named Brian. And I think he's in his early 30s. I think he's in South Carolina right now. And I'm only saying this because he posted it on Facebook. About a couple of months ago, he posted on Facebook that he was struggling. He was a little depressed, da-da-da, right? So I'm sitting up here reading those comments. People are talking about, I'm praying for you, I'm praying for you. And then somebody said, oh, get over it. And I was like, so are you a therapist? Oh, I checked his ass.
hmm
See, when he posted on Facebook that he was depressed, somebody should have picked that phone up right then.
no, that was a cry
And
for
it
him.
said, that is a cry for help. And every so often I look at his page. I don't talk to him because number one, he thinks because I have the circle of truth. He's like, I heard about you. But I'm
hmm
sitting there and I follow his page because somebody should have picked up the phone and they should have said, what's going on? How can I help you? If it means encouraging him to go to counseling, if it means encouraging him to get on medicine, get on medicine. There's no, and I don't like, I abhor, I abhor people with a freaking high school education or barely made it through high school or barely made it through college. You can't even pass a basic chemistry class, but you want to call somebody crazy. Where'd you get your damn credentials from? I don't like that term. Oh, because if you ask somebody about Constance, oh, she's crazy. No, because I'm outspoken. But see, we put such a bad connotation, and we're so busy to sit there and tell somebody to pray. If somebody told you they had stage 3 cancer, would you tell them to pray, or
No.
would you tell them to go get some help? So in the Black community, we're so quickly to sit up here and tell each other to pray
hmm
instead of telling each other, go get on your damn meds. If you've ever been on meds, go get on meds. And if you hadn't been on meds, go get on meds. And here's
Oh,
another thing too, and here's an unpopular belief.
come on.
Quit smoking weed.
Woo.
Because smoking weed, that is a crutch. If you got to smoke weed every damn day, your ass need to be sitting on somebody's couch and you need to be on medicine because you are self-medicating. And I know Shreveport got a really bad heart habit with that. If you have to get up every morning or every afternoon and you got to have a drink, you're self-medicating. Weed, alcohol, that's self-medicating. And that's what we're doing in the African American community. We will sit up here and tell somebody to smoke weed instead of telling them to go get yourself some counseling. So people are either dealing with depression or they're dealing with schizophrenia. They're dealing with something.
hmm
And I'm sure that his parents and his inner circle saw him spiraling down, your cousin. It didn't just happen out the blue. And my condolences to you, and I'm sending you a virtual hug. Trust me. But one thing that people need to take from this is that we have to start seeing the signs.
That's it. That's it. That's
And we
it.
cannot be dismissive about those signs.
That's
We
it.
cannot. We have to be able, I mean, if someone, like I even text my homegirl a week ago. She's like a little sister. I texted her a week ago and I said to her, I said, this is coming up on the anniversary. So I don't really know if I can make decisions right now.
Yeah, you can't. You have to, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
Hmm.
when you're in situations like this, emotional thinking versus logical thinking, you cannot wrestle with that. You have to be in what you feel, recognize what you feel, acknowledge it, and let it pass
Hmm. Hmm.
before you can
You
start
do.
logically thinking.
Hmm. So that just makes me wonder, did he even have anyone that he could say, hey, I'm struggling here? So we can't bring him back from the dead, but the lesson learned is that if someone comes to you and they say, I'm struggling, or you see someone and they just look, then be there for them. Ask
Yes,
them, what can I do? Or,
yes,
or, or say, hey, you know, you can't talk to me. Maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to me, but let's get you in front of someone that you feel comfortable with and sharing with them.
that's it. That's it. That's
That
it.
that's and it amazes me. People could they look, Winona Judd was that 2 weeks ago, the day before she's supposed to get an award, shot herself.
That's it.
And people look at people and they think, because you have money or because you're doing this or you're doing that, that means that they're happy.
No, no.
It doesn't. Matter of fact, I would even venture to say someone that's always happy or having that pretense of happiness, those are the ones that's not happy.
That's it.
Ain't
That's the
nobody,
truth.
but baby, ain't nobody that damn happy all the time.
That's the
Ain't nobody
truth.
that ain't nobody that damn happy.
Cause I'm a moody son of a bitch. I'm a moody son of a bitch. And if I ain't in the mood, I ain't finna act like it.
Not at
But
all. And I've learned I use my adjectives. You hear me?
yeah,
I use my adjectives, and that's one thing I use. I'll tell people I'm tired.
yeah, I'm not in the
I'm
mood.
I'm drained. Yep, I'm drained.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you keep doing stupid stuff and I snap at you, okay, I told you, you was told,
yes,
but you wanted to keep coming.
yeah.
Yep, you
That's
wanted
why
to keep coming. Huh?
I called the gym when you hit me with the few messages the last couple of days. I was like, okay, I got it. Even this morning when I got up, I was a little nervous. This one, I was like, okay, she turned
I'm
off the other
stressed.
day, so I ain't gonna hit her today. That's why I was like, I just hit you the
Mhm.
message like, hey, we got the test run at this time today.
That's
I'll
fine,
see.
I had a little assistant. I had to tell him today, you got to go.
Mm, it's like that. We have to be mindful of that. Like, I don't
Mhm.
think people understand your mental health. Your mental health is more important than your physical health could ever be. If your mental health fails, your physical health is sure to fail with it.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
have to stay mindful of that. I can't wait to go and see my therapist next week. I can't wait. I'm so Tuesday can't get here fast enough.
But,
I'm adamant about that. But we got just one more question, and then we'll get into candy or corn. The final question is, what's the best advice you can give someone thinking about starting a business or pursuing their dreams?
never. I mean, cannot. You cannot give up. And even if you're taking baby steps to achieve your dream, you're still moving forward. And don't expect people to support your dream. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even. I mean, to be tenacious, tenacity. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what to say. Like, you know, if you have to write your dreams down on a goal. I mean, write your dreams down. Like, I love being Mary Jane. I don't know if you watched that show. Remember that show? Being Mary Jane, she had stickies all over the house,
Yes,
so
Gabby.
it could remind her of what her dreams were.
Yes.
You cannot let other people define you or tell you what your worth is. You cannot allow other people to define your worth. You cannot. You cannot. And what I found is that the people that you least expect, those are the ones that are going to be more supportive of you. Ah, my phone's shutting down.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me charge it.
Okay. I love my guest for tonight. I do. She's definitely teaching me, giving me wisdom. And because of her wisdom tonight, this was a very important show for me. I didn't want to speak on it. I was going to save it for the end. So I'll speak on it until she comes back. Um, I'm kind of in the space where I did not want to let me finding out that my cousin committed suicide today to affect my day. I still had to carry forward. But I chose to speak on it now because I don't know what he has been going through. I don't know. And it's part of the reason why I stay on my brothers so much. I stay on my brothers so much because as men, we don't talk about emotional shit the way we should. As black men and as black men, we should be able to have emotional conversations because we don't talk about what we feeling and what we are mentally going through. It will eat our asses alive. Be mindful that your mental thinking is so important, right? I exactly. We have to be conscious of that, and we have to be mindful of that. Your mental health is so much important than your physical health, and it's part of the reason why I have to check on my brothers from time to time. I have to go by and just see them from time to time, or I have to call them from time to time. Um, I know I'm not the best person with just calling and checking on people, but I get it. We really have to be more valuable of people, and we have to be more valuable of our time with people. So it's a situation where right now I'm kind of in the space where I'm trying to be okay, trying to be okay. But to hear that he committed suicide, suicide, suicide is serious. That he took his own life. And when someone decides to take their own life, you do not know how 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 it took for them to get to that point. You don't understand. I think Miss Constance is back, and we're gonna try and wrap up her interview. Welcome back.
I am so sorry. I am
It's
so
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
my phone died. My phone was dying. I'm sorry.
You're okay. We're gonna dive into candy or corn because I actually gotta get ready to head to an event, and I gotta be there before 9 o'clock.
Oh my. Oh, we're running
Oh,
late. I'm sorry.
I'm going.
So what's the candy or corn?
It's not gonna take me but 15 minutes, but
Okay, okay.
get into candy or corn. So I'm gonna ask you about some candies. You can say candy if you'll eat the candy, or corn if you will not eat the candy.
Okay.
Okay, are you? I don't expect you to be excited, but here we go. We're gonna get into the first one. Okay, Gobstopper,
Corn.
Got it. 100 grand.
Candy. It's candy
Candy.
or corn, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Candy corn.
Yeah. Candy, 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 candy. My favorite.
I'm so happy we playing this game now because it's changing up the mood. The next candy is Rolo.
Rolo. Oh, the one with that caramel in the middle of it.
Yes.
Okay, candy.
Heath Bar.
Corn.
Mike and Ike's.
Corn.
Mounds. It's the
Yeah, because if it has, yeah, because they have the coconut and the nuts and the almonds in it. Yeah. Corn. No, no,
okay.
not corn. Candy, 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 candy.
Okay. Skittles.
Oh, definitely candy.
Twix.
Oh, definitely candy.
And the final candy is gummy bears.
Corn. I don't like. It's something about the texture or something. I don't know. No gummy bears. Period. Now, I love me some Thin Mint.
Oh, them things be the business.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm
They
trying to lose weight, but I probably don't lose weight because I will sit and eat Thin Mint like for real. It could be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I get up and have me a Thin Mint.
and
It's
nothing wrong.
almost like crack.
We're gonna compare Thin Mr. Crack. That's a strong
Yeah,
addiction.
that's a very strong. I'm telling you. Look, yeah, it's a strong addiction. Uh,
I dig it.
I need to go to a recovery program
Not for the thing.
because I'm telling you, I was sitting there like the big, thick, the big round ones. So I had my stuff ordered in from Walmart. I had a big bag. When I was sitting there looking around the room, I said, "Oh my God, all these Thin Mint wrappers." Yeah, I'm addicted to Thin Mint.
I absolutely appreciate it. Well, that's Candy or Corn. Thank you so much for playing my game. Definitely let the people know more about your podcast, how can they hear your podcast, and how can they follow you.
Well, my name's Constance Love, and whenever I am hosting a live podcast, I always place it on my page. I have another page, Wynette Love, so you can always follow me on Wynette Love, and you'll get notifications. And then I have just a group that I only put my podcast in. Is Where Do We Go From Here? And then, of course, you can always send a link. I mean, join Circle of Truth. But I will tell you, Circle of Truth, I have a variety of topics in there. So if you just want to follow the podcast, don't join the Circle of Truth.
I'm gonna have to do your show. I'm gonna have to get into it. I'm big for doing other people's podcasts. I love getting in and talking dirt. If
Man,
I
I need to, we need to talk about that. I need to have you interview me, or you can also go on Black Knowledge. Black Knowledge has a variety of topics dealing with the African American community. So, and if you want to become a claims adjuster, you can reach out to me about that as well. Find out about my career. Everyone doesn't travel as a claims adjuster. There are some people that work remotely. There are some people that work auto claims, and there are some people that work property. And I happen to be one that works property, and I'm out in the field. But I'm getting ready to host another class in a couple of weeks. So if you know anyone that's 18 years and up that's interested in a career that if you stick to it,
come on, Fendi. Come on, Fendi. Yes,
yeah,
I
that
love it. I adore it.
and this is not knockoff at all.
We don't do the cheap shit. We don't do that cheap.
No, I can't. And you know what? And when I bought this, I was so excited. I was in New York when I bought it, and I called someone. I was like, "Hey," I said, "I bought a Fendi bag because I usually rock like Brahmas, right?" I was like, "Man, I brought it," and she was like, "Well, I sell them too." I was like, "Are they the original?"
Authentic.
Right. And she was like, "Well, it's close to it." But I'm sitting there thinking, but if I can afford to pay the real, why would I go cheap?
Mm-mm. We don't do that cheap stuff.
I'm just saying, like, right. Like, yeah. If I couldn't afford it, then I could do the knockoffs. But if I can afford it, this is like my one gift for like maybe a year.
Right.
Because if I was married, my husband would be giving me something for anniversary or birthday
Often.
or, huh?
Often.
Yes, often. So yeah, so if you back to career wise, if someone knows someone that, you know, enjoys construction work or enjoys working in auto or what have you, and you want, if you want to make enough to adequately take care of your family,
Hmm.
then reach out to me and take my class.
Okay, Miss Constance, thank you so much for coming through tonight. I'm gonna kind of give it like a week or so before I reach out to you about me doing it.
That'll work.
I'll give it a week or so. I'll wait till probably around June the 1st, and
That'll
then
work.
I'll contact you. Because I
That'll
know
work.
right now this ain't the best of times.
No, it is not the best of times. It is not.
I
It's
will
not.
be in contact. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. You can definitely come back to a Lil Tea Time anytime. And I definitely look forward to chatting up with you soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You do the same.
Best wishes. And once again, I'd like to send my condolences to you and definitely send a virtual hug to you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
You as well.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, you guys, with that being said, I have to thank tonight's guest, Miss Constance Love, for coming through tonight. I got to wrap it up because I got to get out the door, and I got to get out the door really quick and really fast. So, y'all get over to SaucySonyaSpices.com, use my coupon code, A Lil Tea Time, one word, and receive 5% off of your purchases. And be sure to check out Chef Saucy's Fire Ass Cookbook, available right now on the site. Also, you can get over to Agora Borealis at 421 Lake Street and check out my books, the Jarius Dion brand, the Coming Full Circle series, The Confessions of a Conceited Drama King, and you ready? Catching Up with Me are all available there at the store. I am definitely going to get Quarantine Quest out to you guys as soon as possible. But in the meantime and in between time, you can also check out the books at Amazon.com. Just type search Jarius Dion at Jrayis Dion Deyond, and check out the books over there as well. Check out my TikTok at the Jarius Dion. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Jarek, a King Among Men Thomas. And you can listen to these shows via, are you listening? You can listen to these shows via Spotify at A Lil Tea Time. Just type search Jarius Dion, A Lil Tea Time, right? So y'all can also listen to the shows there. Remember the show's quotes, opportunities knocking, you matter, let's build and go higher, Shreveport. And remember, as I say after every single show, remember to be great on purpose and not by accident. The future is now. I am your host, Jarek, aka JRUSD, your favorite published author's favorite published author. Until next week on A Little Tea Time, y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be great and be well. Talk to y'all later. Welcome to Little Tea Time. Y'all ready? Welcome to Little Tea Time. Oh yeah. Welcome to Little Tea Time. Who listen? Welcome to Hi, Mom. I love you. Good night.